What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 91. And we're starting today's episode off on the back of bitter dejection. Yup, our EFL Cup Final against Liverpool ended up as a 1-0 loss. My quest for my first EFL Cup Winners' Medal continues after two final appearances that have both ended in defeat. And of course, the quadruple dreams are now over as well. And after just 3 wins in 10 in all competitions, we haven't just lost our chance at the quadruple. We haven't just lost our chance at my first ever EFL Cup. We've also lost our lead at the top of the table. Yep, Manchester City have now cut the gap to goal difference. We are no longer points clear, but only ahead on the GD. And heading into our first game of today's episode, the nerves, the pressure, my job potentially on the line. We know this Chelsea board have never really taken to me since I took over last season. And going out in the FA Cup last 16 tonight might spell the end of me, because that would be just 3 wins in 11 and 2 domestic cups gone in the space of 4 days. So heading to the Kind Prince Foundation Stadium for this one. West London derby, Queen's Park Rangers away from home. The Championship side right now down the bottom of the table, but buoyed by the fact we came on the back of a heartbreaking defeat and we're in a really horrific run of form. Taking on Queen's Park Rangers, I picked a very strong lineup. I simply put, had to win this game. A loss, and again, with my job on the line, and anything could be the future for me. So heading into the game, I was in attack mode from the very first whistle. We had a couple of great chances, a couple of great saves, and hit the crossbar through Tammy Abraham as well. But with 24 minutes to go, we were still deadlocked at 0-0. And after playing 90 minutes at Wembley and losing a 0-0 against Liverpool, simply put, I was feeling the pressure and then some and not playing very well. But with 21 minutes to go, still deadlocked at 0-0. I needed someone to step up out there, finally break the deadlock and give us the lead in a game where I had played okay, if not my best, but being the better team. And we got the breakthrough through Ousmane Dembele. Yes, Dembele, the former Barca and Dortmund winger, opens to scoring. We lead by a goal. The pressure off, no doubt about it, nerves settled, but just for 5 minutes. Can you believe it? When it rains, it pours in FIFA Career Mode, and with 15 minutes on the clock, what on earth happened here? No danger whatsoever as Ben Chilwell intercepts, and he and N'Golo Kante getting a right little mix-up, and Queen's Park Rangers capitalise. And I was so angry at that moment because I was in no danger of losing my lead whatsoever, and a moment like that cost me. And it's just one of those moments where it's like, why did Kante just dribble, or let's just say just run right into the way with Chilwell as I was passing out from the back there? It's just one of those moments where you're like, is the game conspiring against me? It's not. It's my error. I take the blame for it. But no wonder the cameras pan to Chilwell at full time. After Billy Gilmore hit the crossbar late on and we'd hit the woodwork for the second time in the game, we trudged down the tunnel at full time, and I was thinking, how are we not through? How are we going to extra time? How is it 1-1? I couldn't believe it. We were tied and level. And as extra time began, I thought, this is the last thing we need, man. 3 wins in 10. And now, right now, extra time. We're a fixture congested month of March as well. This is the last thing I need. So 5 minutes after the restart, as extra time began, I've said no more. I'm sick of this, man. 3 wins in 10. I'm not getting knocked out of the FA Cup tonight. Straight away, basically from kickoff, we had the first chance of extra time. And we get the first goal of the period as well. Yep, back in front and more than deserved as well. Great little back heel by Tammy Abraham. And who's there to turn in from close range? It's the man who so often saves my bacon. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Maybe not as impactful as last season, but still a huge player in the squad for me. And after the restart in the second half as well, a chance to make it 3-1 and surely wrap the game up. Which we would do. Get in, hit the crossbar right towards the end of normal time. But Billy the Kid Gilmore off the bench makes it 3-1, a 2-goal cushion. And surely at that moment I knew my job was going to be safe. And our progress in the competition was going to be extended as well to the FA Cup quarterfinals too. Goodness gracious me though, I mean I really did make this hard on myself. We were up by 2 goals now, surely QPR couldn't come back for this. 2 minutes to go in extra time, he had one late chance to make it 3-2, which they do so as well. Luke Amos with the goal. You know, former Spurs boy is going to love scoring against Chelsea. Luke Amos makes it 3-2. QPR cut the gap to 1, but thankfully it was just a little too late for them to get any more opportunities. Final score: QPR 2, Chelsea 3, and after an absolutely ridiculous game, which I should have won comfortably with an XG of 6.6, well, in the end we scraped through after 2 hours worth of football. It certainly wasn't as routine as it should have been, but I guess considering the run we've been on, it's not surprising. But thankfully it does end a horrific run of form for Chelsea. We will take the win. And whilst our quadruple dreams have gone, the treble dreams live on. And you would have seen it as well. The big boys getting knocked out in the last 16. So going to the quarterfinals, no doubt about it now, we would be considered favourites because of the absence of the big teams. And as you can see, the draw for the FA Cup, last 8, we got Wigan. Wigan Athletic at the DW Stadium in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Guys, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I get a lot of luck in my cup draws, you know, and I am the first to admit it. It's so funny because I know that you guys will be sitting there every time we do a domestic cup draw and it's an FA Cup. It's like, oh, we got now a League One side and a Championship side. You know, I often get them, but I've said before, when you look at the fact there's no big teams remaining, other than us, I say big teams, where you consider like the biggest of teams. I mean, you know, your Chelseas, your Man Cities, etc., etc. What you would have seen with the last 8 there, the amount of teams that are still remaining, it just goes to show you why. Like, you're so often, and I'm so often drawn against a Championship side or a League One side, because cup sets are so common in FIFA career mode nowadays, and they happen so frequently as well. It's not a real surprise for me to consistently be drawn against Championship sides primarily, but the occasional League One team as well, because there's just so many of them. And by the law of averages, you know, so many of them are going to go far as well because of the fact that, as we know, cup sets are so common. So it's not a real surprise for me. I'll always hold my hands up and say I do get luck with my cup draws, and I'm the first to admit it. I always talk about it, but it's not a surprise to me that once again we've avoided a Premier League side because of the sheer amount of Football League sides that go so far in FIFA career mode now. And don't get me wrong, cup sets are common, and we see, you know, every single year there's often a Championship side to make the quarterfinals or the last 16. I'd say nowadays more common than before because, as we know, the big teams often use the cups as a chance to rest first team players. The cup, as we know, does not have the same sort of pedigree as it used to, which is such a shame being a traditionalist. But even so, it's not a real surprise, but I think it is a little bit too OP, if you know what I mean. I think cup set's just a little bit too OP in my opinion in FIFA career mode. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, we saw this year, you know, Middlesbrough, for example, going to the quarterfinals. We should see like 1 or 2 Championship sides go into the last 16 and the quarters as well, but just the sheer amount of cup sets that happen and the sheer amount of big teams that get knocked out early as well, I think it's just a little bit unrealistic, you know. It's the sort of thing where you look at it and you think, okay, yeah, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, but you look at the teams remaining in the quarterfinals now. I mean, we are overwhelming favourites to win this, let's be honest here. We're the biggest team remaining, and there's no doubt about it. I would say with Wigan in the quarters as well, if I don't win this competition, I'd say I've bottled it. Absolutely, because now we are overwhelming favourites to retain the FA Cup. Still, following that, you would have seen we beat Aston Villa by 2-1, but the big thing was, did you see it? West Ham beat Chelsea by beat Manchester City, by 2-0 at the same time as we beat Aston Villa. So, the gap was cut to goal difference, but now we've re-extended it back to 3 and have the game in hand as well. Yup, massive result there, and I thought it was so funny because you would have seen on Sunday, what a game, man. West Ham 2-0 up at half-time against Man City. Guardiola's side battling back to make it 2-2, and the momentum they had, getting that penalty late on as well, which Fabianski made the save for too. An incredible game which finished 2-2. I thought that was so funny how it sort of kind of was happening in the game as well. In the game though, thankfully, West Ham held Man City off, so we've now extended our lead back to 3 in the Premier League and have the game in hand and a better goal difference swing as well. So after a horrific run of form, finally, whilst I don't want to jinx it, Chelsea appear to be pulling themselves out of the darkness. Our third and final game today, AC Milan, Stamford Bridge, second leg, Champions League, last 16. 1-1 at the San Siro, and 7 minutes in, the perfect start. My job has been on the line ever since I arrived here, really, and especially after my worst run of form as Chelsea manager. 3 wins in 10, losing our lead at the top of the table to just goal difference, and of course losing the EFL Cup Final as well. But after Tammy Abraham converts a penalty, the Dembele won early with some lovely trickery to make it 1-0. 7 minutes in, running over to me to celebrate. I gotta say, I love doing that. It's something I recommend as well, like for realism. If you are doing a FIFA CM and you're going through a tough patch of form, I think it's really cool that, you know, when you're under a little bit of pressure, you run to celebrate with yourself as the manager. I think it's really cool for the realism, you know, players backing the manager. The players have certainly got my support, even if the board don't. Tammy Abraham gives us the lead after Mendy made a great save. We hit the crossbar twice, deja vu, just like against QPR, once in the first half and then in the second as well. There's a magnet in the ball today, I swear. The amount of times we hit the woodwork, still leading by a goal, 8 minutes away from progressing to the quarter-finals. One last chance for AC Milan. Harvey Elliott finds Goncalo Guedes, and I talked about it. Best goalkeeper in FIFA 22, in my opinion. Edouard Mendy, second time in the game, bails me out on a one-on-one and ensures we scrape through AC Milan and keep our treble dreams alive and hanging by a thread. Yep, just about got over QPR, over 2 hours worth of football, just about get through AC Milan, over 180 minutes of football. Goodness gracious me, I'll say we haven't been very convincing lately, there's no doubt about it, but at least the horrific run of form is over. Doesn't matter how you win, as long as you do. 3 straight wins for Chelsea, treble dreams remain alive, 11 games to go, 3 points clear of City, and have the game in hand as well. And after finally pulling ourselves out of the darkness and giving myself a bit of security and stability as staying on as Chelsea manager, the EFL Cup might have gone, but the treble dreams are still alive. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode very soon.